Howdy, howdy, howdy. This is the devilishly handsome and deathly ill Scaught Null, and with me is my lovely co-host, Jerry Care Bear. Also known as Jerry Kutka.
Jerry Kutka?
Jerry Kutka. Jerry Kutka.
Jerry Kutka.
How about Jerry Kutka?
That's fine with me. We can do that one.
All right. Tonight, let's just start with a little anecdote here. I've been playing a lot of Majora's Mask and also Pokemon Omega Ruby.
Sure.
And every time those transitional cutscenes have been killing me, sure. where it's basically, we're going to change the game slightly for a few seconds, so let's stop the gameplay. And even if you can skip it, you have to watch the beginning animation of Link's slow down time, and the clocks are swirling everywhere.
So they're pretty much going to slap the fucking controller in your hands, and you're forced to watch something.
It's so jarring, and it just irritates the hell out of me when they do that.
Why'd you do this to me?
And in Pokemon, I love these games. I love these games. Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire. Yeah. The coolest thing they put in the game was that soar where you're on Latios or Latias.
I know, I hear about that. I'm still on X and Y with my girlfriend, but I keep on hearing about this.
And every time, at the beginning it's cool. You're like, wow, because you watch this cutscene where you get on his back and you shoot off to the sky and he turns into a jet.
But
then, first of all, the music's for it's really stupid. If you're gonna do that, you gotta really either go over the top, like it's the grandest thing ever, or
balls to the wall,
you just put
awesome.
the goofiest music in there, like maybe fart noises, just shoots off. And it'd be fine if it didn't happen every time, because and you do it a lot, especially if you play daily to catch the daily Pokemon in the Mirage Islands. You're jetting off a lot, and at least a fart sound would make it so that you're not tired of it. Just every day you can have a little chuckle of as you shoot off into the sky.
So I think a fart noise in any kind of video game would be just amazing.
Kind of like if you splice out any cutscene with Antonio Banderas, it just makes it better.
Yes.
We'll discuss that in a little bit. Let's discuss cutscenes today.
Cutscenes!
All right, there's a couple different kinds of cutscenes, as you all know. The most important is probably the storyboard cutscene. It's the one everybody knows when you say cutscene, it pops up in their head. It's expositional. It basically drives the story, especially in older games. If you remember, Mario cutscenes were basically just, the princess is in another castle, and it's just a big block of text.
I don't know what the fuck there is. Go fuck yourself. Walk away.
So at least they've gotten better since then. Big blocks. Do you remember the original Zelda, where before you started the game, they had that block of text that just told you the entire story?
And they actually have like the items in the game what they're used for. It was like a digital instruction manual right in the your beginning of the game, which was like kind of cool. I kind of like that.
Which is a good example of a demo cutscene.
Yeah,
basically demonstrative, shows you how to play the game. Again, the older games would do that occasionally. When you didn't press the start button, it would just show you little clips of the game. Hell,
I got F-Zero playing at work all the time just because there's a cool demo mode I have playing it on. It just goes run through the track, and it just kind of ends, and it goes through another loop of something else.
And it would show you not only little commercial for the game, especially if you're in an arcade. You've only got like 3/4 like I ever did.
Oh my god, I love arcades.
And you were too scared to play House of the Dead because geez, bloodstains.
Don't come! I laugh like a little fucking child every time I hear that. Even to this day, I play House of the Dead 2, and you're like, when you're shooting that girl, it's like, don't come! Like, I'm trying not to.
You're not supposed to shoot the girl, Jeffrey. Well, anyway.
But at least I didn't come, so.
Well, anyways, it would show you a little commercial, and it would also show you how to play the game, essentially. Mario was introduced after Mario, the arcade game, Super Mario Brothers. Basically, the very first inclination of the game, you walk out, and the very first monster you run into in any of the Mario Brothers series was the Goomba. Yeah. And if you never played before, you're like, friend, I guess, and gave it a big hug, and then wondered why you died. But the demo would show you jump over it.
Oh my god, this is what I do! And of course, if you let the demo run long enough, it glitches out in the second trial area,
and
then it gets stuck on a pipe.
He doesn't quite make the jump over the pipe, and he just kind of keeps running into it after a while.
It's like, you're not going to make it over, man. Like, all right, man, you can still keep on trying. It's funny to watch.
Another example is the transitional cutscene, like we discussed earlier, where the game changes either the scene, like Mario hitting the flagpole and going through the castle.
Yeah.
And occasionally, if you did something magical, you got fireworks, to changing gameplay mechanics like jumping off into the sky on Latios. Mm-hmm. Transitional ones can be so repetitive.
Yeah, but, it fills up where you're going to go, so it doesn't matter to me with simple stuff like that anyway. But
one of the more prominent cutscenes is the interactive cutscene, known as the Quick Time Event.
Quick Time Event. I don't know why I'm fucking singing.
Well, that's for another day. We'll talk Quick Time Events another day because it'll just be me.
I have another guy personally named Josh, and he loves Quick Time
Events. You personally
events.
named him Josh.
I personally named this man Josh.
His actual name?
Josh.
Oh, so that's a good...
At work, at his store account, I named it Josh 3.0.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he'll be joining us for that discussion, I believe, because he'll be providing a counterpoint.
Yeah, I don't like QuickTime Snoozer Scott, but Josh, he fucking loves QuickTimes now.
And listening to two assholes just agree with each other, that's not good anything.
Just jerking
no
off
one
each
wants
other.
to watch
Just
that.
like, oh, it feels good. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So let's get on with it. Why cutscenes, Jerry?
Why cutscenes?
Why cutscenes?
They're becoming like a really, I guess, heavy nowadays. Like one that comes to mind that's just like overbearing to me is probably Metal Gear Solid 4.
Haha, you mean cutscenes the game?
Cutscenes the game.
Where the entire game.
Like I have actually never finished that game yet because of like I remember being the first level and like I'm just sitting there for a good like 20-30 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay, like I kind of forgot I was playing a game.
Well, everybody knew that going in. The game was a love letter to Metal Gear Solid fans, and you had to go in knowing that, okay, the entire series is going to be explained in this game, and Metal Gear Solid has always been known for their cutscenes.
Yeah.
Nothing story ever happens in the game. There's always either a cutscene or a codec call. The entire game is just like, okay, stop and watch, That's Kojima's favorite form of communication. Everything he does in his life, I hear, he stops everyone talking and then he performs this huge just number, and then everybody can talk to him after he's done. There's no skipping it.
Maybe we'll actually see a Zone of the Enders 3. Fucking finally. I would love to see.
Keep crying.
It's so good.
Why don't you talk more about Mega Man?
Mega Man. God damn it. Capcom just believes Mega Man is just horrible, and I guess
we'll talk about Capcom another day too. Another very, very cinematic game. One of your favorites is the Uncharted series.
I fucking love boners all over the place for Uncharted. Oh my god.
I like... See, Jared keeps telling me because I like the gameplay mechanics in Tomb Raider, which are basically just ripped off of Uncharted.
They're completely fucking ripped off of Uncharted. And you also love Last of Us, which is the same fucking studio, man.
And the main character for Uncharted is my favorite type of like
dashing,
handsome rogue with the smart mouth
and like dash of luck as well. It's like a Han Solo kind of thing.
I still haven't played it yet. It just
I fucking bought you a copy. I'm like, just fucking.
You bought me two. You bought me the copy for two. I can't start a story from the second one.
Oh,
I did for Assassin's Creed, but that's because the first Assassin's Creed.
You can play those out of order. It doesn't matter. That's what's so great about those.
I call it bullshit. Well, okay, it's not like as bad as Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed, I'm playing the second one, and then suddenly it transitions to the future, and I'm like, look at them like
look at them in Indiana Jones movies, man. You can kind of watch them out of order, but you don't want to. If you want,
but if someone started from the second one,
just fucking play it, man.
What the the second one called?
If I got you the first
was
one,
the second one called Cradle of Filth? I don't think so.
The Cradle of Filth.
Indiana Jones and the Cradle of Filth. I don't think that was it.
What is it? That was it.
It was Temple of Dune. It was
Dune.
Temple of Dune. Let the spices flow, Indy.
It feels so good.
It was Temple of Doom. It was
dear God, I would
Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom was the second one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just still stuck on like Temple of Doom. Like I'm thinking of a David Lynch directing an Indiana Jones movie, and that sounds
couldn't be any worse than the fourth one.
Fucking baller to me. All right. Anyways, back on topic. Another one I really like, also that me and my girlfriend played a lot of, was Beyond Two Souls, which is nothing but cutscenes.
The game is an interactive movie.
It really is. But you know what?
You could say it's just quick time events of the game, and you've forsaken me.
I know. It's
Don't you do this to me.
but you do walk around an environment. You kind of it's almost like a mix of point and click, quick time, but an interactive movie and all in one. The stories are really gripping because in movies you only get maybe like 2, like sometimes 3, which kind of pushing it, or even Indian movies. They're like 6 hours long, but fuck that. We're not talking about that.
We're not talking about 6-hour movies. Lord of the Rings. I mean, but you ever sit and watch the extended versions all in one day?
Good fucking God, no.
We did that once. I'll just stop it there.
No, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk. This is not a proud moment.
Yikes.
But this gives an opportunity to like actually like get involved into the character.
You feel like you're a bigger part of the story.
You really are. And you're immersed a lot more immersed.
Immersed.
You're
smurfed right into the story.
We're smurfed right into the fucking story.
See, I played Heavy Rain, which is essentially the same thing.
The same studio too.
And I couldn't. I guess because the main character I couldn't get into. 2 out of the 4 characters I didn't like.
Okay.
And it's just like how he's like, oh, I have to cut my hand off to save my son, type of thing. And it's just like, the story's not going to end because you cut your finger off. So
sure.
Just fucking cut your finger off,
Well, I guess that's kind of like the same point of like Last of Us. Last of Us was very, heavy into the cinematic area, but that's another one where I did not identify at all with the characters whatsoever.
I absolutely loved that game. I love the ending. I love just everything about it. I love the scenery. I love the clickers. I loved how terrified I was of the clickers.
There's a lot about that game I do love. Like the first 10 minutes like blew me fucking away. I was such a heavy heart. I cried like a little girl. I loved every minute of that.
A wonderfully done cutscene.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I was just so like, oh my God, no. I was just like, I would play that beginning over and over again. But when I actually started, the clickers worked really cool. I do like the fungus zombie design. That was really interesting and new. The scenery was marvelous, of course. Naughty Dog always does a fabulous job.
And you hate the ending, which is my favorite part.
I think I hate the ending because I fucking hate the characters.
I loved every character involved in that game.
I hated...
They just seemed so real.
I hated Splinter Cell and Juno. I'm sorry. They're like, he was just a fucking asshole, and I'm.
That's the brilliance of it, is the fact that he's. I mean, any story can tell you about a man that goes out and saves the world. This story was just so real, and his character was so believable. I get that. The flawed human in all of us. And
I totally understand that, but I guess it was my breaking point. Like, I was on board the whole time, except for the last 5 minutes where it was like, at the point where she was on the bed and like, we gotta save humanity.
Well, let's not spoil the ending here for anybody.
Fucking spoilers, turn off now. Come back in like 5 minutes. But
5?
Fuck, I don't give a shit.
How long are you going to talk about this?
But no, it's like, I wanted her dead. Like, I was in my head, like, I wanted to save mankind.
Yeah, oh man.
I did not give a fuck about her. I'm sorry. I wanted to save mankind. I'm like, fucking tear her up her brain. I don't give a shit.
I mean, I can see why she wanted. She would have wanted it if she had known that, and part of her did know that this is how it was going to end, and everybody kind of knew it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't just magic up a cure by like taking a blood sample. They had to dissect her, and she had to have known that.
I know. She
was smart, and I mean, you could see the disappointment in her eyes after she realizes what Cole does.
What he does is like,
Cole was the villain, and he was the protagonist in Infamous. But but it's just loved that story.
It was fine. I don't know.
And back to the topic, I love that story because of the cutscenes. Because
cutscenes were fine.
The cutscenes were done well.
The story was It's just I didn't like Splinter Cell or Juno. I'm sorry. I just wanted them dead, and I didn't give a fuck.
When aren't cutscenes done so well?
When are cutscenes done so well? You know.
I'll tell you what. Okay, we're gonna start off with bad acting, and we're gonna go to Fast and Furious Showdown.
Oh my God!
Do you remember them just reading off? We rented this for Wii U because we saw the video of these cars being flipped in the air.
It was fucking
from this weird little diving board scoop you have in the beginning there.
Like, just flies on the screen like, oh, we got to get this.
We had to try this. It was fucking ridiculous.
We didn't have one copy in the store. We waited for like at least a couple months.
We rented it off of Gamefly.
Yeah, but that was the only way we were fucking going to get it.
I got screwed Gamefly over, waiting for them to give me the 3-month rental for $1. But we rented it, and the cutscenes were so terrible because, first of all, the animation was awful.
Oh, yeah. It's something that you saw like at least 15, 20 years ago.
Do you remember them pulling the safe out of the wall?
Oh, my God, yes.
And it just looked like this. It looked like polygons attached to a slinky. It was the strangest thing ever. But the worst part of the cutscene was the acting.
Yes.
I mean...
Like, they were literally looking at a script and like, oh my God, Jill, I can't seem to get over this. We need to get a heist mode.
We need to find them. They're dangerous.
It's like fucking, it's like almost the same as like House of the Dead 2.
That was my other example.
House of the Dead 2. Don't come!
Jerry, how did they know it was G's blood?
They fucking ate him.
You're in a town filled with zombies and people screaming it and torn apart. Oh, G's bloodstains. It's just G's magical ass bloodstains that were glowing.
Maybe they're fucking glittery.
Maybe the letter G had just been written into him. That's what G does. As he's bleeding, he's got to leave his little mark as he's crawling back to the church.
It's like fucking Zorro.
It wasn't even a church. It was like an office.
It was a church office. A choffice.
You know the worst part of that game is the fact that the cutscenes acting was so bad that they still needed to throw in captions.
I always laughed every time the main head honcho, the evil guy was on. I was like, dogs of the AMS.
Time we made a move. Dogs of the AMS.
Like, he could not fucking care anymore.
No, he just did not give a shit. It was not even worth the cash in the paycheck.
I think they recorded him in the bathroom like, dogs of the AMS.
They just got a microphone. They kind of put that under the stall. Come on, Bob. We got to get the line.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm using the restroom right now. Just say the line. I've got the toilet paper. Oh, God damn it. Dogs of the AMS. Time we made a move.
I won't work with that, Bob. Take
Print it. Print it. We're good.
Release the game. We're awesome. Oh.
All right. How else do developers screw up the cutscenes, Jer?
How else? Let's see what I got here. You know, like, the cutscenes weren't really big. Like, you remember GoldenEye's cutscenes?
I do. I remember how the game would stop and a bunch of boxes would talk to each other and then the game would continue.
Well, it was really... developers didn't fuck it up. They actually kind of made it better. Because they had like a normal cutscene. You're like in the first level of the dam. You see James Bond kind of like fall down. And like, whatever, off the dam. Like, whatever. Yeah. If you unlocked all the cheats, you can really fuck with the cutscenes. You can speed up the animations, go into Donkey Kong mode.
That was pretty awesome that the game actually incorporated... the fact that you changed your character's skin, like the DK mode.
The DK mode, yeah.
And it would completely screw with the cutscene.
It looked like a fucking...
It looked like Ragdoll Circus.
It was so great. If you speed up or slow down the animations, if you have that cheat on there, like, it'll just go, just like fall, and I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck happened?
James hits the speed of light.
Even at the end cutscene was really great because if you slow down the animation, because he's supposed to run and then jump onto the helicopter and then take off, but since they're two separate animations, James Bond is running in slow motion and the helicopter's still in the normal animation mode and just takes off without him. And then James still running away. Oh, Kurt.
You know how I beat that game finally?
Wait, fuck you. I'm going to interrupt you.
Fine, go ahead.
The fast animation, if you put on that same mode, he'll run up to the helicopter, jump on, and then fall down.
He falls out and then just takes off.
Yeah, and then you see his body like way across. Like, what the fuck just happened? It is fucking try that. It is great.
I have to look that up now. You know how I finally beat that game? Killed 006 because I literally crawled under the. I was on the lower level of the satellite rackets.
Okay.
And he was on the above one, and I didn't realize that I had to keep following him. That it doesn't matter how many times I shot him, the game wouldn't continue until I chased him.
Yeah.
I basically sat down there for like an hour shooting his foot to the ground, and it worked too. I mean, he kept saying his little one-liners and getting hit, and then I was like,
James.
I mean, how can he have this much health? So I walked up there, and then he just started running real quick. So I'm like, oh, okay. He had like 80 holes in his foot,
just bleeding everywhere. I'm fine.
That was an interesting one. It was like an interactive cutscene because the game wouldn't continue unless you caught up.
Yeah.
which is kind of strange.
I guess they're just points that you did kind of what, but
I mean, another reason cutscenes suck is because of bad story. You know what? We're going to skip my favorite game to hate on this week and just keep going.
you know what cutscenes are actually really important to actually have is point and click adventure games. You really kind of need that kind of cutscene to go because, like, say Grim Fandango, for example, you start out with a cutscene, you get introduced with the characters, you figure out what this whole storyline is, and you're kind of going on. It's like an interactive book, and that's what I kind of like about it. So you get the characters, and you're like, oh, that's awesome, and then you kind of walk around the room, find out more things, and it goes into another cutscene and talk to characters. That's also kind of considered like another cutscene, and it sounds like
they're transitional cutscenes, but they're short and they're needed. And I mean, the games that really suck are the ones that use the big blocks of text these days.
Yeah.
I mean, look at a game like Katamari Damacy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I absolutely love the King of Cosmos. He's one of my favorite characters just because he's like...
He's so crazy.
I aspire to be him. Mm-hmm. He's a god with a god complex. And he's such an asshole. But sitting there reading all that damn text blathers on and on and on.
You know what I'm going to talk about is FMVs. Full motion video.
The live action cutscenes.
Yeah, like that was very, very common in like Sega Saturn, Sega CD days.
PlayStation 1 days, usually with movie tie-in games.
Or the CDI. Okay, the CDI games, the infamous Mario games or Legend of Zelda games on CDI.
Don't talk to me about those.
I can't wait to grab some badongos. Not badongos.
Badongos. You're grabbing Zelda's badongos
You're
now.
grabbing some badongos on there. Oh. But I remember playing Sega CD. My buddy had it, and I was just all of it was it was like full motion video. Like, oh yeah, because it's like you're watching a whole fucking movie on your games, but it's not. It's absolute crap. You get my fucking god, and the acting was also just as atrocious.
I loved Top Gun for the PS1 because it was a movie tie-in. They did that a lot with movie tie-ins because they just throw actors in there or just show you a chunk of the movie. This one actually went and made you part of the movie. You were Tom Cruise, and everyone was talking directly to you.
That's fucking rad, man.
And you were just like, this is the corniest ass thing I've ever seen. You know, a movie that I wish they had done that with is Super Troopers. That would be hilarious.
That would have been good. You remember on PlayStation 1 Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil, they had the cutscenes?
Instead of the director's cut?
Yeah, so I believe it wasn't a director's cut. No, it was not a director's cut. They actually had like a movie, like
I
FMV.
Do remember that where it was just like Chris and Jill.
Yeah,
and it was just they were like these actors, and they were just pointing their guns out and looking dramatic.
I don't remember much, but I remember it was actually quite shitty.
Another one was Myst. The only animation you ever saw in Myst was the two brothers or the dad after you beat the game, and they would go through their overacted cutscene and I'm a bad guy secretly. Poof.
You know what recent game I played? Obviously, you just played, of course, last week. That just fucking blew my mind away was Far Cry 4's opening cutscene.
That was a wonderful opening cutscene. We actually talked about that pretty much just because of the storytelling and the villain.
The villain was so badass. I love the main villain in it. It's like, this is the reason why I'm playing it. It's because of this fucking guy right here. This is so great.
Okay, a good game with sometimes one cutscene can ruin the damn game. Mm-hmm. And a fantastic game, a fantastic series up until 10 was Final Fantasy.
Final fucking Fantasy.
And I think Titus's laugh may have killed people in the series. Mm-hmm. I mean everybody who had any competency at Square Enix, because after that all the games suck. But Titus's laugh. When Titus learns to laugh, ha ha ha, and you're just like, what the hell? I mean, you just cringe watching that scene.
Oh my god, Bayonetta's cutscenes are so fucking fabulous. I don't know if you've ever played Bayonetta 1 or 2.
I tried 1 and I didn't like it.
Oh, I'll have to let you borrow.
I didn't like the characters. Like, I'm a big rat guy, and you're just like, oh my god.
They're so, I guess, flamboyant.
They're over the top.
Yeah, very over the top.
You know what they remind me of is Black Dynamite, the movie.
What?
The characters, because they're so just overly obvious of what they're supposed to be.
Okay.
And it's almost a parody of itself.
Yeah. It is kind of a parody. It does poke fun of itself a lot of times, but at the same time, I love the fucking style. It's so insane. I love it. And the just unnecessary ass shots. Every time there's a necessary ass shot on screen, my girlfriend laughs her fucking
Well, yeah, that's all it is.
off.
It's just fan service, the game. What about games where the cutscenes are actually kind of meshed with gameplay? Like BioShock, in which all of the story happens when you're still playing.
Yeah, there's actually, you're not even taken out. You don't have any sort of like quick time or anything like that. You're actually being going along with the storyline.
You know what those remind me of? I mean, it's a rail shooter. It reminds me of those rides at Disney World, like, you know, the Pirates of the Caribbean, where you're just on there and the crap's happening while you're just kind of going past it.
The first fucking 10 minutes of BioShock, I was so blown away by that. I'm like, plane crashes, you're in the middle of the ocean somewhere, and you see this fucking building, and you swim ashore, and it takes you immediately down under in this pod, and you just see like Rapture in its whole fucking glory of like this awesome, marvelous city.
One of the first games to do that that I remember playing was Half-Life.
Half-Life, yes, they did that.
Half-Life, in which the entire game is told while you're playing.
Yeah, which I think is amazing. I wish more games would do that nowadays.
So the point is, I mean, it's not a cutscene because you haven't been cut out of the game. You're still playing and things are still happening.
I know, like I still feel like I'm involved in the characters and I'm still moving around and I still have total freedom and I'm not being like, you know, my control's not being slapped out of my hand like, well, we gotta pause everything, fuck you, here we go, watch this shit. I'm like, I don't wanna.
I mean, could that be where games are going?
It very much could, but it's not necessarily a bad thing to actually have cutscenes because, like I said in Bayonetta, I fucking enjoy those cutscenes. They're so unnecessary, but I do like unnecessary badassness. If it's stupid and crazy, I will fucking buy the shit out of that. You know, fucking Vanquish. Vanquish was just like, okay, everybody needs to play fucking Vanquish. You have jetpacks on your legs. You just go and you just blow the shit out of everything. It is so unnecessary. It is awesome. Another platinum game.
What about transitional cutscenes in Mortal Kombat?
Transitional cutscenes in Mortal Kombat, like the kills?
Yeah.
Oh,
finish him.
I love
the fatalities.
Those. Oh my god, I always tried to fucking get the fatalities as a kid. I couldn't fucking do them.
Those things were terrifying in the newest one.
Oh my god, they're so. That's why people love gore. That's why it's gonna fucking sell. You play Mortal Kombat to play fucking gore. I'm sorry.
True.
If they're not doing gore, then you fucking failed Mortal Kombat. I'm sorry.
Well, how else do developers screw up cutscenes?
How else if it, besides being really long and pointless?
really long and pointless with a story. That story that sucks.
I'm sorry, I could not get into Final Fantasy 13. I just couldn't.
No, I couldn't either. But that was just a long hallway. I mean, I couldn't get into Final Fantasy 12.
I thought the visuals were fucking amazing. I'm like, wow. Like I actually got my PS3 and got Final Fantasy 13 just came out. And I'm like, yeah, this is so good. And I'm like, wow, this looks beautiful. And I'm like, just kind of like, all right.
Final Fantasy 12 was kind of like Brown the game.
Brown the game.
It's just like realism, brown filter, and it was just like, okay, yeah, everything looks really dirty.
You know what I kind of want to say is fucking Call of Duty games. I don't think it's the cutscenes that's the problem. I think
writing.
It's the writing. It's the story exactly.
What about Watch Dogs? Really? I mean, the characters in that one were just so flat. And
no, it was gray. It was so fucking gray. Like the atmosphere was gray. The characters are gray.
Like the mother of the dead kid, like just didn't care. She's just like, you need to get over this. And he's like, well, I'm a big criminal now, and I'm blah blah blah. And she's like, who cares?
That is exactly how it went down.
It was just so strange.
But another good one that's like I'm not minding too much is Wolfenstein: The New Order. Like I mentioned, I keep on telling you I've been playing that a couple weeks, but they're doing pretty good with that. What's another fucked up one that was kind of shit?
Sometimes translation errors. I mean, Metal Gear, the first one. The truck have started to move. The entire intro video and all your base are belong to us.
Which is now a huge musical score everywhere now.
Yeah.
Max Payne, when it first came out, was kind of a different... They try to do something different. They actually do comic book styled cutscenes.
Ah, yeah. Kind of like Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah. A little bit like that, but they did have like frames, and you read the comic, they kind of narrated it too, which made me fall in love with the voice acting because I know a lot of people, like I read a lot of reviews like, oh, the voice acting was shit. I'm like, I don't fucking care. I love the voice acting in Max Payne, which made me love even more Max Payne 3, which got rid of that kind of style and went, full action, crazy, unnecessary, awesome.
I think the worst thing a developer can do is have, first of all, pre and post boss cutscenes, and the only thing worse than that is boss cutscenes that you can't skip. Cutscenes in general that you can't skip.
Like you fucking die and then you have to go back to like, what was it, that Ninja fucking game on 360 and PS3?
It's just, you sit there and, okay, I died. Let's start it over. Oh, I died. Let's start it over. And you just sit there, and eventually I get up and, drink, and come back and have died again, so I have to start over again. And it would just piss me off so much.
There would be a game that you would hate then. I forgot what it was called, but it was Ninja something. I don't fucking know.
Ninja Gaiden?
It was not Ninja Gaiden. But anyways, the whole point of the game, like, it was based off cutscenes and QuickTime events. Like, not like Heavy Rain. You would actually try to fight bad guys, and it goes into a cutscene mode, like, roar, and then you fight a big boss, and you hit spam X, whatever. If you fail that cutscene, or that QuickTime event, it rewinds the whole goddamn thing again.
Oh my god.
And you do it all over again.
That sounds like a blast. Why would you do that to yourself?
After about an hour, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of done. Thanks for having me.
And then, the frustrating QuickTime events as it is just, that's the worst part, is that they feel they have to get your attention for the cutscene by, like, quizzing you. Are you still awake? Why don't you hit this button and prove it? That's my absolute just faux pas of game development, is cutscenes you can't skip, and then cutscenes you can't skip that, like, hey, keep jabbing you in the gut. Hey, look at me. Did I see your eyes move there? Because you have to be pressing this button right now. Tomb Raider. Oh my god. Tomb Raider, the remake.
Yeah.
They kept doing that.
I played through most of that. I couldn't get through it just because, like, I know it's...
You couldn't, because it was just gore porn, and she kept, like, especially when she fell off that cliff and she was going down the rapids and kept getting impaled for the 80th time.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm fine. Yeah, I got that. And I think it was just more like, I just got done playing Uncharted 3, and I'm like,
well, it's the identical same game, so
and I'm like, I'm just going to play this one. It just doesn't matter to me. I'll finish it eventually. It's just not on my top priority list right now. How do you think Metal Gear Solid 5 is going to be?
Well, all we've seen for it is cutscenes, except for
all we've seen is cutscenes.
No, I'm serious, because everybody keeps doing these days. They keep doing game trailers.
Oh my god!
Game trailers. There's no gameplay. It's just
look. That's why I dread sometimes watching E3. I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna see so many cool things. No, we're just gonna see fucking trailers.
Nothing but trailers.
Trailers. Like, I don't mind trailers.
These are the cutscenes in the game. Wait till you see the actual game, and then it's just 2 pixels walking around.
Yeah, like Sonic 06. The Marvels. Everybody like. Yeah!
Hey, I was skipping talking about Sonic 06 today, but seriously, the greatest cutscene of all time is Sonic 06.
What?
When she makes out with it.
Oh, my God.
It's one little kiss, but it's the
so
creepiest.
It's so fucking awkward.
That and when, like, Sonic starts running and, she is a human and doesn't have super speed, and he just kind of yanks her.
Like, we're like, oh my fucking God.
I was just like, wow, Sonic's kind of a dick.
And then I remember, like, they are going into, like, some sort of tree randomly, like, we're in a field, and here's the tree of my family. I'm like, why are we here? Are we supposed to fight Robotnik right now? What the fuck is going on? Eggman. God, I miss Robotnik so much.
Yeah, you and your hate for Russians, Mr. Kutka.
Fuck you, comrade.
Yeah. But just yes, that game, a great offender, because it had that huge cinematic cutscene in the beginning, which obviously the developers spent all of their time making, and then you still had the transitional cutscenes of nothing but... The worst part of cutscenes that are just blocks of text is when they feel they still need to throw, like, a voice in there, but it's not. It's not actually. See, Banjo-Kazooie did it right.
I love Banjo.
But when they throw in, like, it's a big block of text and the guy goes, yeah. I never understood why they need to do that. And then, okay, he clearly didn't say all of that. He grunted at me. Why?
What? Why?
Was that just like, they ran out of time and they're like, okay, everybody needs to belch in the mic here.
Thank you, Jim. You'll be on your way.
Just, how are you doing today, Sonic? If you could go get this ring for me, I would reward you.
What else?
You can't see, but I just made a face. Ha ha, because there's no video. It's a podcast.
Fuck you guys. Trying another one. Like, how do you feel about, like, the Pokemon cutscenes?
Like what? Like, I already told you about the one I didn't like, the one you can't skip. That's a transitional one that you see over and over and over again. You know what else I don't like, which I'm totally counting as a cutscene?
What?
How to catch Pokemon.
How to catch Pokemon?
Remember the old man, or every time you play a new Pokemon game, you're like, the game has to stop, and they have to teach you how to catch a Pokemon.
Yes!
And you know, I find the introduction cutscene where it's the professor and he's like, yeah, I'm Professor Fart and I'm here to teach you about Pokemon. Pokemon are our friends. Well, they're really our slaves, but they haven't revolted yet, so we just keep catching them.
Well, just burn them down.
I mean, that's always been really charming, but then, I mean, you get in the game and you get stuck at the, hey, even though you know how to play this, let's teach you how to play this.
Have you ever played Ninja Gaiden on NES?
I played that one.
Yeah, if you actually go through it, there's a lot of really cool, interesting cutscenes in that. Like, they tried their best of what they could do on even on an 8-bit system. They actually have, like, actual characters interacting and whatnot and, like, little dialogue boxes. I was kind of very, very impressed for that time of period of what a cutscene could do on a classic bit system.
Give me your favorite cutscenes. What are the ones you had the most fun with?
Most fun with?
For me, it would have been probably the Kingdom Hearts series.
The Kingdom Hearts series?
Stop right there. Fuck the word series. Kingdom Hearts 1 was the only one that I actually enjoyed.
Fair enough.
Because I was a little emo high schooler and the Heartless.
So much angst, I'll shit it out.
The Heartless and everything like that. I just loved the story.
Sure.
And
I never got through it, but
do
tell.
Because of the cutscenes, I mean, you actually cared about the characters. And I really think the ending of 2 kind of screwed the entire series and really made me hate it.
Oh. I fucking loved Full Throttle on PC as a kid. It was another point-and-click adventure by the wonderful Tim Schafer and LucasArts Studio. You're a biker. And
oh, so it's Road Rash.
There is a moment kind of like Road Rash where you're like hitting other like gangs with fucking...
Stop hitting me.
No, fuck you. But it's another one of those. It's heavy on story and some on intelligence. You have to figure out puzzles and shit. But of course, cutscenes. But those cutscenes are so fucking enjoyable. I love that game. I would just watch Let's Plays of those videos just because I love that game so much. It's so entertaining.
We're kind of all over the place with this one tonight.
Yeah, we are. But that's okay.
Yeah, we're just kind of shooting the shit on this one. Shooting that shit. Just shooting at it. Pew, pew, pew.
Puberty.
Let's,
There's a... I'm not really enjoying kill zones right now. Just because it's... Then you're getting to that point of cliche cutscenes. And like with the characters, they're like,
ever since like the 3rd generation, all the games have become cliche. I mean, you have the same fucking protagonist in every first-person shooter. I'm a grizzled guy, grizzled ex-soldier or current soldier with a mysterious past, and I'm bro man.
I know. And Killzone, the new one on PS4, is not even much different. It's like, my dad is trying to harvest me off, blah, 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 and like his dad dies and shit, and then you uprising and fight the rebellion, and it's all bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Visuals are nice. That's all I can say. But I guess I kind of label that, with more of the Call of Duty area. Like, who gives a shit about the story and who actually watches the cutscenes at this point?
I'm thinking, in modern day gaming, there's no point for a demonstration cutscene anymore. They were great back when they were showing you how to play the game, but until they really release a new genre or a new gameplay mechanic, there's no reason for it anymore. Because, I mean, how many of you out there actually go and read instruction booklets? Well, you can't anymore because they don't exist. But everything can be looked up on YouTube.
No, that's true. And it kind of makes me back, like, we play a lot of trailers in the store, right?
Yeah.
And there's one about the new Call of Duty, which they did change some of the mechanics. Because you actually get this suit, exosuit, and you can do double jumps or whatnot. Of course, people who are not familiar with Call of Duties, where it's like, this is what they're trying to do now. So you're actually saying, like, oh, you're doing the double jumping, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, and that's trying to get more people interested into the new game. But I don't think that one's sold as well.
And I mean, transitional cutscenes are necessary. You can't have a game without having a little... Because if you just kind of went... Especially with a campaign game, every time the level ended, you just kind of pop on the new one. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like a period. You need something there, otherwise just really jarring and confusing. It would be a huge mess.
Yeah, kind of like in Aladdin Super Nintendo. After you beat the level, it's like, yeah, he eats the apple. Boo eats apple, and he's like, go on to the next stage. And...
an interesting one that does that is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually have cutscenes between the levels. It has a little transition scene that says, night 2, and then it just starts.
Yeah. It's
and I remember showing that to a friend, and he's just like, "What's fucking night 2 already?" And I'm like, "Well, the game is called Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
What did you think you'd be doing?" And I mean, they did have the interaction of the voice in the background talking to you, basically giving you a background information and exposition.
Yeah.
But after that point, it would just kind of, the game would keep going, and you could actually put that on mute too.
Oh.
So that's a game, one of the few without transitional cutscenes. There's an introduction cutscene that laid out the story, and that's pretty much it.
I'm just going to throw this one out there. One of my personal favorite games who did, of course, like Half-Life 2 is Portal 2.
Portal 2, again, cutscenes in which there weren't real cutscenes.
No, you actually, the dialogue was extremely heavy in that game.
And
of course, when
it
the character doesn't talk.
Kept going while you were there. And the dialogue would continue. I mean,
with Wheatley talking to you, like, thinking you're fucking listening, but you're not.
until you proceeded too, because he'd stand there. I mean, Apple. It's just APPLE.
What you're doing is jumping. Okay, that's right. and I laugh my fucking ass off every goddamn time.
And you had cutscenes in there. You had control of Shell while she's falling down the pit. But
I think that's what I like more in video games. I like when shit is going on, I do have control of the environment around me while stuff is still going on.
Well, games like Metal Gear Solid where you could control the camera.
That's where you could look down our boobs and shit like that.
Well, I was 4, but I mean, you could kind of just move the camera around and, hey, what's that in the corner? Oh, it's nothing. Everything's happening over here. I mean, I don't know why it was there, but it was an option.
Dead or Alive sort of does that after you have the end of the battle. He's just like this. Oh, pause! Oh my god! And you can move the camera around. Of course, look up her skirt and shit like that too, and then wiggle the camera and shake her boobs.
I mean, I think that is a trend that we're going to be seeing more of. I think real expositional cutscenes are kind of on the way out, and that we're going to see more games that kind of immerse you with the story. Mm-hmm. That's just better storytelling.
Yeah,
that where you feel. I mean, there's a problem where you could just run ahead and miss everything.
Sure,
but I mean, games like BioShock, they kind of lock you in the room.
Yeah,
which is a little of a bit of pain in the ass if you played it a couple times, anyways. And
yeah.
I know. That's a big daddy.
But I still like games like an Uncharted, though. I do like seeing these awesome action scenes. They are cool if they're done right. They're done really right, and I love them so much. But I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll see how the trend continues. I mean, I'm going to be right, and you're just a fool. But
I'm a balding fool.
I don't know why you keep bringing that up today.
I'm self-conscious.
As you should be.
I'm an ugly man.
Well, here's our rhetorical question for the week: should cutscenes be abandoned? Why or why not?
No,
that's an incredibly stupid question.
Will you put that fucking down?
I know. I am not feeling well, and I think that question shows it. Should we abandon a mechanic that's existed since Pac-Man?
No, fucking no.
Should we pretty much just end gaming? Should we play video games anymore? Developers out there, cutscenes are banned, and they're just like, "Oh, what the fuck do we do now?"
I fucking know what I'm doing. You're gonna have to read your instruction booklet. I have to read.
I'm sorry, but there are no credits. You're
just no. Just fuck you, no.
The game. Can you imagine how awful a game would be without at least some sort of? I mean, you wouldn't have a demonstration cutscene.
You have no demos. You have no tutorials. You have no QuickTime events. It's like a worst wish come true.
There'd be a world without QuickTime events. I think I'd still be okay.
We'll have to have Josh on. He'll defend him.
Hopefully next week, after my ear stops ringing constantly, keeping me up for nights on end, I'll have a better rhetorical question than, should we just throw this out?
Yes!
How about we just stick with the... what do you think the future of cutscenes are?
I think it's looking better.
Are we going to see the trend of QuickTime events kind of go the way of I don't know, the Dreamcast, or are we?
No. I actually kind of look forward to the future of gaming because hardware is getting better, technology is finally moving forward with the software. I mean, we got actors coming in with voice actors with full motion video, and we're going to see a lot of really cool things that probably a lot of cool creative people can do something with.
What about augmented reality cutscenes? I mean,
oh my god,
you
yes.
played.
I didn't even think about
the
that.
shooting game with 3DS where you're like shooting those pellets at the targets.
Sure.
And I mean, every time the scene would change, it would be that's a transitional cutscene.
Yes.
And I mean, you had full control over things. I mean, you could keep playing, but it would just, I mean, kind of, you would still, even though there was no story, you still felt really part of the action there.
You totally did. And their technology, like, they're even trying to shoot out that one augmented reality glasses I know they're working on right now.
Yeah.
Where, like, kind of like that, everything around you is actually fucking happening. If movies can work like that with with a game, that'd be mind blowing to me. I wouldn't know where to fucking start with that.
That just reminded me, the game without cutscene. Minecraft.
Yes.
The game without cutscenes. The only thing there is the story you make up yourself.
That's true. What about Animal Crossing? Animal Crossing has cutscenes.
Well, it's got an intro cutscene. It's got transition. I mean, you're on the bus, you're on the train.
That's
it's
true.
got the transitional cutscenes.
Minecraft's more free flowing. They literally just drop you in. You go fucking have fun. That's true. I kind of make up my own stories with them though too.
You and you're harassing that ape in the trash can for months.
He came fucking back. Did I fucking tell you that shit?
Yeah, you told me he
fucking
came back.
Ape
Okay, so there's this ape that Jerry just demanded not be in his town.
Okay, he came in. I can't even talk right now. I'm so fucking angry about this damn ape.
And Jerry's way of getting him out of the town was, what a normal person would do. Basically harass him for a week. He would just sit there smacking him with the
net. I would dig up holes and I would trap him in there.
Pitfalls.
I'd let him go. I would trap him in a corner and I would let that go for 24 hours. I actually took timestamps, like pictures of him being standing there for 24 hours in the fucking rain.
The time he caught fleas, you just laughed at him.
I did. He's like, hey, can you fucking deliver this for me? I'm like, sure. And I took it from him and I buried it right in front of him. Fuck you.
So, I mean, he stayed. And I've had characters that I talk to daily go, well, I'm leaving. And you'd be like, really? But this ape that you beat up stayed.
Every day. I beat him up every day. I insulted him. I took his shit and I buried it. I would trap him in his house. Like, I would put holes around his entrance and he'd just go, I can't leave today. Oh, well.
And then, when he finally does leave, what happens?
He fucking came back.
He comes back as like a visitor in that town.
Yeah, he fucking came back.
Area.
The worst part about it is, like, he left. And then I street passed my friend Gary. And then he had the same character. And he came right the fuck back, and he's like, "Hi, my name is blah." I'm like, "What?" I came from Gary's town. No, you didn't, you son of a bitch.
I still like the fact that for a while there, he was just homeless.
He was. Yeah, I shove him back in the garbage area in the middle of that street.
Well, even when he moved out of your town, he would come back and like visit there, and it was like he was homeless and just living on that little street.
Right. I would take pictures of him by the garbage can.
He'd be there day and night in the rain. He'd have no umbrella. He just loved you so much, and you hated him. Why did you hate him?
Okay, I had this perfect little area on my cliff of my house.
That's right.
And I wanted a water fountain with street lamps. I'm like, I'm going to make this fucking beautiful. Everybody's going to love it. I'm going to be fucking town mayor of the universe. It's going to be great. And he's like, I moved right here in front of your shit.
Didn't he do that the second time, too? He moved in right where you had, like, street?
I was making a little pavement thing. And yet, like, the second day I put in my thing, he's like, I'm like, fuck you so hard.
Well, this has nothing to do with our topic.
No, it's not.
But it's still a good story.
Yeah, I do have to get going, though.
All right, so we'll just do closing. Jerry, what are you playing this week?
I'm actually playing Mario Land on the original Game Boy.
Because you want to torture yourself?
I love the music and the sound.
It's really like Mario on a calculator.
It's still good. I like Game & Watch games, and you know that. I like the simple, like black and white games. They're really cool to me. I don't know. I love the simplicity. I was raised on Atari, and I kind of like that simple mindset. I just kind of zone out and I go.
I hated that game. You remember the Mario, like, the guy who lined up the Mario storyline? And, like, Mario Land was at the very end because Mario's living on this island all alone.
It's fucking weird. Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck. It's like there's the, like, Easter Island shit.
The guy is really lonely, I think, because, I mean, to read that much into Mario about being...
I might have to read this because it sounds great.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
All right, what are you playing, man?
I'm playing... You know what? I'm playing Pokemon Shuffle this week.
Pokemon Shuffle?
The free-to-play game that Nintendo has sent everyone with a 3DS. And I mean, I can tell it's coming. I
Yeah.
can tell the whole point of, well, I mean, you're not going to be able to continue until you start buying some of these gems. But for now, it's fun.
You want to buy some gems? Yeah.
Kelsey really likes it, where she's having a lot of fun with it, and that means I can play it too.
Sure.
It actually encourages me to play it more because she gets excited about it. That means, hey, we're playing games together.
Right on.
If you like what we're doing here, please subscribe to NullSpace. Follow us on Facebook. We're also at Twitter at NullSpace with a Y, and you can check out our blog at nullspace.blogspot.com, again with a Y. Other than that, show your support by donating. To the NullSpace Wishing Well. Click the PayPal button. Every donation is appreciated. Other than that, have a good night.
Happy gaming, everybody.